the boom or bust offseason additions. So it can either go really well or it can go completely and totally haywire on the team, the player, whoever. And let's make it anything we want it to be. It can be a coach, it can be a coordinator, it can be a player, it can be a draft pick, free agent, trade, whatever. Boom or bust offseason additions, go.
Well, I'm going to start up in New England. Milton Williams. That's where I'm going to start. He's a guy, huge money. The prized possession of free agency. And I'm expecting boom. But we've seen this before. A guy that didn't start for his previous team, he kind of becomes, ooh, look at this guy. He's the flavor of the league. It's awesome. Oh, what would he be even better if he started, right? And I know he was in front of a bunch of talented guys there, but it's big money for a guy that hasn't started and hasn't had to prove himself by playing 60 snaps a game, game after game after game after game. So I look at him to go, hey, that's one there where it's certainly a little dicey. And we're going to see how he reacts to money and being the guy and having to be a leader and all of that. So oddly enough, I'll stay in New England for the boomer bust here with Milton Williams.
Hey, when one of the first things the coach says is you better get used to playing more often, it's like you just assume that he's going to be as good if all of a sudden he's got to double his snaps.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things here. Right. You know, and plus you got your pockets are a lot fatter and life is good and you're going to stay motivated and all those things we've talked about, with NIL and other players all the time.
The Albert Hainsworth effect. After you have finally chased and caught that giant bag, you realize it hurts to play interior defensive line.
Exactly.
They put two guys on you. They're constantly hitting you. They're coming at your knees. Screw this. I got my money. I don't need to do this. I've won. I don't need to keep trying to stay upright. All right, for me, this is obvious because he was boom and bust last year. Which Sam Darnold is going to show up in Seattle? Is it going to be the guy that was 14-2, or is it going to be the guy who had an opportunity to propel the Vikings to the number 1 seed in the final game of the regular season and all of a sudden started throwing helium balloons in the red zone in that game at Detroit? Which Sam Darnold will it be? With pressure on him, with Jalen Milroe on the sideline, with the possibility he gets benched, with the reality that this 3-year contract is actually a 1-year-at-a-time arrangement that doesn't pay him nearly as much as the 3-year deal would suggest. So there's going to be real pressure. There are expectations. How will he do as the guy who is presumed to be the guy from the moment he signed? When he signed in Minnesota, it's like, he's just the placeholder until they draft someone. He was never the guy until August when J.J. McCarthy got injured. It's like, well, I guess he's the guy. What else are they going to do? It's different now. The pressure's different. It's boom or bust for the Seahawks and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I hear you. He was on my list too. I mean, it is. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table here. And yeah, they're believing in him. But yeah, I wrote him and Geno Smith down, right, just as possibilities in case you took some guys I wanted to take here beforehand. There's a lot of good ones, right? I thought about Jalen Moore, the tackle, right, from the 49ers, who only played the last few games of the year, and the Kansas City Chiefs paid him a bunch of money to be the starting tackle, and he only played, the last 5 games of the year? I thought about him, but I'm going to stay with some bigger names. How about Cooper Kupp? I look at him, same team, Sam Darnold's receiver there, and I sit there and go, yeah, hey, it could be boom. It could be 100 receptions. He stays healthy. He's motivated by the Rams not keeping him and all that, and he has a great year. But it could be bust, and I'm not ever healthy, and I can't separate quite the same way I used to, and I got lower body injuries and all that, and I never really get to the level of deserving a $15 million a year type of contract. I certainly could see this one going either way there, but it's funny. You take Sam Darnold, I take that. It plays hand in hand there, but yeah, very interested to see what kind of Cooper Kupp we get this year for the Seahawks.
Oh, it's a ton of pressure on the Seahawks and on the Rams because the Rams were either incredibly wrong or incredibly right.
Right.
And if they were wrong, Kupp is going to be great. And if they were right, Kupp is going to struggle because, hey, we thought the Rams were going to go younger and cheaper. They went older and more expensive than Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams.
He's also on my list. He is. Yeah. He's on my list too. But, I don't think I'm going to get to him here. But he was one of the names I wrote down for sure.
Well, before you take him, and I know that this doesn't technically count because he's not yet on the team. So before you
I knew you
me on
would,
social
though.
media, I know he's not on the team, but we expect him to be on the team. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. What will he do for Pittsburgh? And the longer that he waits, the more pressure will be on him to not bust. And I look at that schedule. They've got 3 winnable games out of the gates. Will he be ready to go? Will he show up this week or next week? The mandatory minicamp is next week. That was the week he went to Egypt last year. And, he's been around for most of the offseason. Why are you giving him a hard time? Well, he's been around for none of it now. Is just showing up for training camp enough? Will he still be able to play? Will he have a soft tissue injury at age 41 as he tries to run like he used to run, and his hamstring or his calf or his quad says, no, buddy, you're old now. We're not going to cooperate with these messages you're sending from your brain to these muscles. Sorry, we're on strike. You're done. There are so many factors that go into it, and the Steelers have set themselves up to put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and it's going to boom or it's going to bust. And anything other than winning a playoff game is a bust for the Steelers, because they could have done that with Justin Fields. They could have done that with Russell Wilson. They could have done that with Mason Rudolph. Hell, they could have done it with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. I hear everything you're with there. And I thought about Rodgers, too. I didn't write him on my list, but I thought about him. And I don't know, we're going to have to go to the rule book to see if that pick there was allowed, because he's not signed yet. We're not sure. But
I'm the chair of the rulemaking committee, and
you're
I
the
say
judge,
it's allowed.
the jury. Yeah, you're the Roger Goodell of this draft. We got it. Okay, judge, jury, and executioner. All right. I have thought about Daniel Jones, because I could see that being boom or bust.
Show me something, Daniel Jones.
Right, that could be it. But I'm going to go one other one here. I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to go down to New Orleans. Chase Young. I know he was there last year, but they signed him to a big contract. I mean, he a 3-year, $51 million deal, somewhere in that range, basically $16, $17 million a year. He got 5.5 sacks last year. 5.5. Like, what is it? Where is Chase Young? We saw the 49ers make a move for him, trade for him, and nothing really popped there. His best game was the Super Bowl, which was his last game with the 49ers. But I look at that, and I still was surprised by the contract overall, that they gave him that kind of money. I don't think there would have been that kind of market for him right there. I don't know if Chase Young, that came out of Ohio State, is even in that body anymore. I question all of that. But, yeah, I look at that contract, and that made me pop my eyes opened up wide when I saw that money for 5.5 sacks. I was a little surprised by that.
Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2020, and then had that torn ACL in the 21 season, and it seemed like he fought to get back. And is he back to being the guy that he was? The Saints are paying him like they think he's going to be there. But you're right. It's either going to go really well or it's not. And the problem is, what's going to go well for the Saints this year? Like, will you even notice if Chase Young is doing well? Will it matter? When are they ever going to be in a situation where you can pin their ears back and chase the opposing quarterback? They're going to be the team that's trying to score the points late, and their quarterback's going to be the ones getting chased around. All right, The last one for me, and I thought about Ashton Jenney here, because when you said pre-draft that his film against Penn State, he wasn't running circles around guys the way that he did against other schools, it got me a little concerned. As much as I like the guy, as much as I want him to be a Bo Jackson type of a figure, and there's a video going around on social media of 10 minutes of Bo Jackson highlights, and
they're insane.
It's just incredible. And if Ashton Jenney can create the kind of highlight reel at the NFL level that he did at Boise State, he will be Bo Jackson-ish, but I just don't know. So I thought about him. But I keep coming back to this. Ben Johnson. Like, we all assume Ben Johnson
I hear you.
is going to be the next Bill Walsh.
I hear you.
We all assume he's going to be the next Bill Walsh.
Right.
And you and I are drinking the blue and orange Kool-Aid.
Definitely.
And we just assume it's going to work. We assume it's going to be great. We assume Caleb Williams is going to work out. We assume that they're going to be able to do the stumble bump and all these other trick plays, and everything is just going to be perfect. But look at the Bears. Look at how they've struggled offensively for decades. Is Ben Johnson, number one, is he just good enough to be a successful head coach? We don't know, because it's a fundamentally different job to be the head coach than to be a coordinator. Plenty of people believe, and he's either going to be, and this is why it's boom or bust, he's either going to be Bill Walsh, or he's going to be Mark Trestman, And the problem is anything less than Bill Walsh, people are going to think it is Mark Trestman. All due respect, Mark Trestman catching strays, but he was a head coach of the Bears, one of the only offensive head coaches they've had since the 85 team, and it didn't go well. And anything other than Ben Johnson is on track to have his bust carved and placed in the Hall of Fame. Anything other than that is going to be viewed as a disappointment.
I'm with you there. He made my list as well. I'm expecting Boom, right? But I'm realistic enough to go, damn, I'm expecting Boom to such a degree. Am I putting too many eggs in that basket, right? And we know it's a tough division. There's a lot of things that are working. A work in progress there in Chicago. And I think, we've all kind of take it for granted and just think he's going to be awesome on that side of the ball. That's what I'm expecting. I'm a huge fan of what I watch and what I see from him on film and all that. But, it's a different ball game when you're the head coach. We know that, and we'll see how he handles it.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.